I'm a big fan of momentum in general. And my question is, when I feel that I'm building positive momentum and I'm feeling great and excited and clear about what I want, and then something comes along, unwanted, that happens, and I think to myself, what the hell? I didn't attract that. Why, when I'm feeling so good and so great, is it possible for me to attract something so unwanted?
So are you saying that you think that you simultaneously have two different momentums going? In other words, momentum about wanted and momentum about unwanted?
Is that possible?
Well, let's talk about it, because when you focus upon something, you gain momentum. So do you believe that you hold your focus specifically on wanted things, or do you move about a bit in terms of subjects?
Well, I'd like to say that I only focus on wanted things, but if I'm being honest, it's a little bit of both.
Well, there are two possibilities. One is that every subject is really two subjects. So as you think you're focused upon what you're wanting, really you're focused upon the absence of it. But that's not the way you presented this. You said, I've got positive momentum going. So what do you mean? For example?
Like, for example, everything seems to be going great with my job, and I'm doing something that I really love and enjoy, and I'm fortunate to be doing something that's what I really want to be doing. And everything seems to be going great in my relationships. I'm happy. Everybody around me seems to be in harmony with how I'm feeling, and we're all feeling good. And then all of a sudden something happens, and now I don't have the job that I did have, that doing what I love, and in one day it's just gone.
So the question that we have to you is, with the going of the job, does the momentum have to go too? This is the crucial question. And if the answer is, well, yes, of course, then that means you weren't garnering natural momentum. You were living conditional love. In other words, the condition was fostering the way you felt. Esther discovered that a bit. She was living happily ever after. When she heard Katy Perry's song Falling from Cloud 9, she said, yeah, I'm down with that. In other words, it's easy to feel good under some conditions and not as easy to feel good under other conditions. But the best analogy that we have that explains this as a footing or a basis is a woman was presenting to us a similar complaint one day. She'd gotten a ticket in traffic. And she couldn't understand why that would happen to her, because she was flying high when it happened. In fact, she said, I was listening to one of your recordings. Just sticking it to us. And we said, well, what was the ticket for? And she said, for not wearing a seatbelt. And we said, well, how do you feel about that? And she said, I think wearing seatbelts betrays my freedom. I don't think anybody has the right to tell me whether to wear a seatbelt or not. And we said, well, do you usually wear it? No. I look for every reason not to. Sometimes I pretend like I'm wearing it when I'm not wearing it. But I don't want somebody telling me what to do about that. So as we all listened to her, it was evident that she had a vibrational bugaboo about that subject. So we explained to her that she's moving through traffic and feeling pretty good about most things, but she's got momentum going. Now the question that you're putting here is it possible to have momentum going on more than one disc? What do you think, given from this? In other words, do you spend all of your time thinking about this? Or do you think about that sometimes, and you think about this sometimes, and you think about this sometimes? And does that mean you sort of have a grid median that's happening, a sort of grid average? But do you have the ability to always stay in that average, or do different things spike your vibration relative to different things? In other words, if 17 seconds and another and another and another will increase momentum of something, doesn't it make sense that as you go through your day, you'd light up about different things at different times through the day, and a universe that's really responsive to you is saying, here you go, here you go, here you go, here you go, here you go. That's why we want so much to assist you in gaining control of your vibration. We've never said to you, achieve vibrational alignment and it's yours forevermore, like a college degree that you hang on your wall. It either is or it isn't in the moment. And what you're doing as you're moving through this is you're working the bugs out of the things that commonly come to you, because there really aren't that many reasons for vibration, and there are thousands of impetuses for them. In other words, Let's talk about the grids in emotional terms. You're going to like this. So let's say you've been feeling unappreciated. And let's call that an emotion. Well, unappreciated, as you get that not being appreciated momentum going, it can show up at work. It can show up with strangers. It can show up with traffic. It can even seem to show up with inanimate objects. It can show up with insects. It can show up with strangers' dogs in the park. In other words, that general feeling of being unappreciated. Now, you got there by exposure to all those experiences, but since your vibration's where you last left it, then you could have a vibration going on, not even realize that you've got it going on, and law of attraction saying, see, here's a manifestation that matches that feeling. See, here's another manifestation that matches that feeling. And most people, as they have the manifestations, which is what? It's the grid filling in. It's the realization of the vibration you've got going on. Then you just practice that vibration all the more, don't you? In other words, aren't you more likely to practice the vibration of not being appreciated when someone has sort of disrespected you in some way?
Yes.
But do you have to? Do you have other choices? Do you have to let them make the statement about how you feel? Or can you feel as you choose to feel regardless of the way they have behaved? Because their behavior isn't about you, is it? It's about them. And once you start making those distinctions, so when you feel loved, oh, isn't it nice to have someone that you respect holding you as their object of attention and loving you? Doesn't that just feel wonderful? And doesn't your world start to shine in different, more wonderful ways when you feel loved? And that sort of makes you say, well, now you've loved me, you can't stop. Because I like what's erupted from being loved, and I'm sort of dependent upon your gaze for how I feel. And you know, I've got a lot invested now, because since you love me, my life got better in this way, and this way, and this way, and this way, and this way. So I need some vows from you. I need some promises from you. That no matter what, no matter how rotten I am, no matter how undisciplined I am, no matter how not in the vortex I am, that you will love me anyway. And the wise person would say, what? Don't ask me for unconditional love. I'll love you when I'm hooked in with love, and I probably won't when I'm not. And if you're dependent upon me being hooked up, you're in trouble. Because I can't control myself yet. This is all new to me. This is all new to me. And yet you want to make other people responsible for how you feel, don't you? So now let's think about these discs that we have fashioned. Do you like the idea of them? And let's give them emotional titles. So there's love and appreciation grid, and there's disrespected grid, and there's overwhelmment grid, and there's anger grid, and there's depression grid. In other words, it doesn't matter how you got there. If that's what you've got going on, life's going to reflect those things back to you. You just have to ask the question, do I have to stay with my previously chosen momentum? That's the question. Do I have to stay with my previously chosen momentum, or can I lay new pipes? So you can lay new pipes, but it's not going to be the easiest thing that you've ever done, but you can do it, can't you? And the nice thing is, the more you do it, the better you feel, and the better you feel, the more good stuff comes, and the more good stuff comes, the better you feel, and the better you feel, the more good stuff comes, till pretty soon you begin to feel invincible. And we just love it when something happens to somebody who's sure they're there when they're not, that shows them that they still have work to do. That's all. Happens to Esther every day. Every day. Every day. There's something that happens that lets her know that she's been choosing a disc that is not serving her well, and that she could do better if she would focus. And she wants to, you see. Oh, it's so fun to be a deliberate creator. And it's not fun going where you're told to.
So I guess I just am wondering that when I think I'm up here, and clearly I'm not.
Well, we've been saying there's two ways to know. Mm-hmm. One is by how you feel. Mm-hmm. So if you're not paying attention, then the other way is when it manifests. So when it manifests, gets your attention, doesn't it? So what's your response to that attention? Do you say, law of attraction's all screwed up? Do you say, not my fault, something's really wrong? Or do you say, good information. I thought I was in a different place than I am. This is really good information. I'm going to shore up that. I'm going to start making more statements. That's what affirmations are about. Affirming who you are and what you want. That's what that does. When you speak about it, Esther was with friends the other day. They went to a place that they have all sort of been talking about. And it was an orgy of positive statements for hours. For hours. Not a dip in the conversation all day long. Anyone who was listening in would have thought they've had lobotomies and they've been programmed. Because they seemed ill-equipped to face any sort of reality. They found positive aspects in everything. And the aspects that surrounded them said, if you like this about me, then try this on. And then they all commented about that too. Then something else would happen. And someone would say, wait. I need the attention of everyone here. You might be missing this good thing that's happened. Did you see that? Did you see that happened? I didn't think you saw that thing that happened, but we wanted you in on that thing that happened. And did you hear what she said? Did you hear what she said? You had another conversation going on over there, so you missed that, but you need to get back in on this, because none of us want any of us to miss anything that's going on here that feels really, really good, because we're flying high. And why miss anything under those conditions, you see? And what the universe yields to you under those conditions is just never-ending good stuff. Never-ending good stuff. Will you maintain it forevermore? No. And when you don't, what happens? Do you say, I need to hang around with you guys to feel like that? Well, you don't. There's plenty of guys to hang around with that feel like that. And the universe is going to bring you more and more and more and more and more and more and more, because you are the common denominator. You are the vibrational equivalent. You are the chooser of your vibration. You are the chooser of the disc. You are the creator of momentum. You are the maintainer of momentum. You are the realizer of momentum. You are the appreciator of momentum. You are the acknowledger of momentum. Nothing's going to ever come out of the oblivious to you again. You know too much. Emotion tells you everything. Emotion tells you everything. So now you're in a position where you don't want to, you broke my momentum. I was feeling so good, and then you broke my momentum. All that means is I didn't really have the momentum going that I thought I had going. I hit a bump and came to a complete stop. Esther used to love driving that big bus. Nothing stopped that. She loved getting on the freeway. Everybody just got out of her way. She'd look in the rearview mirror and the seas would just part. Everybody was moving over. Nobody wanted to take a chance of being run over. And that's what you want to do. You want to get your momentum going so fast that everybody that's not up to speed just gets out of your way.